Morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nobody Likes Recruiters, the podcast if you're looking to ace your recruitment game. Today, we're joined by Mary Walker from Elm People, and we're going to be talking about all things personality profiling.
Yes, indeed.
Exciting. So Mary, for the people listening, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Mary Walker from Elm People. Elm People's a business I set up in 2020 to start looking at how I can help small businesses to ace their game in terms of their service, understanding their teams and understanding how to be better at engaging with their customers.
Because we met, haven't we? So we've known you probably for a couple of years, is it now, through the kind of local networking circuit. And I suppose we've always had quite a bit of intrigue, haven't we, around personality profiling and what value it adds to businesses, because we've done it in previous businesses, haven't we, before? And there's lots of different tools, isn't there, probably out there. Is the biggest thing.
Lots and lots and lots. And some I find really confusing.
Yeah.
Some I find really simple.
Yeah. And I think that this one was quite good, wasn't it, Lee? Because actually what came out of this profile, and what is good, is quite consistent to the profiles we've done previously, haven't we, within other organisations.
Which is reassuring. Because they should be.
Yeah. So the main thing is, though, just about, again, how they come across, how they're presented, and that's the kind of difference.
Yeah, so I mean, I, like you, having come from internal HR, which I think is something that we've always had in common, which has been lovely, because that makes us a little bit, we kind of get it, don't we? We understand what it's like on the other side as well. I've done loads of these personality things in my time, and could I remember what I am on some of them?
No.
Well, they've all started to amalgamate into one for me. So, although I know what the colours mean in this, I might get them confused with, I'm dominant or fine red. But
this is a nice touch, though, isn't it?
Yeah. when I so I'd done 20 years in the corporate world. I was a very good biscuit stacker in the retail industry, let me tell you. I decided that I wanted to kind of understand something, and I started to work with a colleague on a piece of work for a major coffee chain.
Yeah.
And she started to talk about this insights thing to me, and I was like, that's interesting. She referred people to a coffee.
Yeah.
And she said, if you're an Americano, you're about getting it done.
Yeah.
Do what it says on the tin.
Yeah. Nice.
But if you're a flat white's about balance. It's about being perfectly linked between the three. So she was like, that's Earth Green. I was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
So I was intrigued. So I decided that actually I wanted to learn more about insights. So insights discovery it's a worldwide profiling tool.
So Mary, just before we go into that, what is, if you had to describe personality profiling, because we've done it with candidates, various jobs within our current role as well. Some people refer to it as, can you complete this psychometric evaluation, this personality test? And you can hear in candidates' voices sometimes it's
the fear.
A bit of a gulp. Oh no, right.
Am I going to fit what they're looking for?
Am I going to fail? So if you had to kind of say, so what is personality profiling or psychometric testing for somebody who doesn't
know? For me, the way I always sum this up is it's about understanding yourself. First and foremost, it's about what motivates me, what excites me, what gives me energy to get up in the morning and go and do the job that I do, and how do I do it best?
Yeah.
What are the things that get me excited? What are the things that I can do but I don't really like doing?
Yeah.
So if I give you an example, in my world, I don't like detail. It's not something I'm very good at, but what personality profiling has taught me is that I can do it, and I do it really well, because I don't want to do it very often. So what I do is
exactly. So what we say, it's amazing that all three people with low detail have actually managed to organise and pull together a podcast, all being in the same room at the same time.
On time.
Yep.
But what it means is that over my career, 3 times people have asked me to be an accountant. Because when I do detail, I do it well.
Yeah.
Because I don't just kind of skim it. I'll go, if I've got to do this, I want to do it properly.
Yeah. Steve's our resident accountant.
Yeah. So I can dial up that bit. Just because, and this I think is some of the other personality profilers are really kind of don't sit comfortably with me, is they say you can't.
Yeah.
You can't do detail.
Yeah.
Well, I can do detail. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
But if you ask me to do it all the time, it'll exhaust me, and that's where it fits into recruitment and understanding your candidate. Because if you try and shoehorn somebody who doesn't like detail into an accountancy role, chances are 6 months down the line they're going to go, I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a good point there, just around kind of using it within recruitment. Quite a lot of the time, I don't know if people know what is the right point to use the personality profiling. Sometimes you've done it pre-interview. Some people have done it post the first interview to then use as a second interview, I suppose, probe more questions, isn't it, around the personality? So what is there an ideal point to kind of do it in your mind?
In my mind, the ideal point to use personality profiling in the recruitment process is the person doing the interviewing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to go back a stage.
Yeah.
Actually, because you're the person that holds the golden key, aren't you?
Yeah.
If you're doing the recruitment, you're the one that holds the key to that person's yes or no.
Yeah.
What do you know about yourself?
Yeah.
Because we all bring unconscious bias into the recruitment process.
Yeah.
And what we know is that people generally like to recruit people who are like them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
Because they're comfy with people.
Yeah.
You're comfortable, aren't you?
And what are your most
You two are
enjoyable
quite-
interviews when you think the brisk talkers, the people that
they
can...
were so engaged and exciting, or yes, I wanted somebody with detail, and they were very thorough in their questions.
Yeah.
And that, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But actually, if you understand yourself and then look and go, okay, what's my opposite?
Yeah.
What's the person who is completely different to me? When I'm interviewing, I'm then sort of thinking about, right, are they playing to their strengths?
Yeah.
And that's the crux in the recruitment process.
Yeah.
Is the person in front of me playing to their strengths? In which case, they're going to play to their strengths in the role that I'm recruiting them for.
Yeah.
So it completely kind of flips on its head, really. So certain roles might have, a very detail orientated. So somebody who's amazingly confident at performing in an interview and can think on the spot and answer questions and is quite loud and lively. People will often come out of an interview and think, yeah, they were brilliant, we'll offer them the role. However, they might not be best suited for that particular role. It might suit somebody who's, a little bit quiet, a bit more methodical, somebody who takes time to reflect and think before.
And that's where the personality profiling can really help the recruiter to use the right questions to probe.
Yeah.
So if you are presented with somebody who's kind of, like you say, very gregarious and kind of excitable and like is mirroring the behaviour of the recruiter, at that point the recruiter then can go, right, I'm going to ask them a question about tell me a time when something didn't.
Yeah.
So you get into the nitty gritty of what is it that you're actually recruiting for, or are you just recruiting the person?
Yeah.
Actually, you've got a job to be done.
Yeah. And I dare say a lot of the time people recruit the person, don't they?
Yeah, which is great, which is fine.
Yeah.
But there's still a job to be done at the end of it,
Yeah,
isn't there?
100%, yeah. So again, kind of going back, I mean, because we've experienced it with different, I suppose, success rates, haven't we?
Yeah.
I mean, we did it within our last organisation where we actually profiled all of the top performing managers in the business. And funnily enough, they all had a very similar, or shared similar profiles and similar traits. So then you were asked to, weren't you, Lee, to go out and recruit more of these people with a similar profile.
So the problem is, and this was a hospitality industry, so every single site, it was the YHA, the Youth Hostel Association, to do a little name drop, but some of our sites were like city centre travel lodge hotels. Other sites were little sleepy hostels with 2 employees that maybe had 6 or 7 visits at a time. So the actual, the duties, responsibilities were very different. One was very commercially focused, fast-paced, thousands of visitors a week. The other one could have 6 or 7 visitors, be closed for 3 months of the year.
Yeah.
So they actually require very, very different people. So based on our top performing sites, which were generally the most profitable sites in the city centres, we did a personality profile that came out very much like what we called was an operator at the time, wasn't
Highly
it?
dominant, target focused, want to get the job
stuff
done, no patience.
Yeah. And once we'd designed this profile, it was stated that all applicants had to complete the profile before interview, and we would not progress anybody forward unless they were this operator profile.
Yeah.
Regardless of if you'd worked in hospitality, hotels, your experience, your background, it was almost a kind of a flat no that was enforced on us from the powers that be above.
And that for me is the absolute danger of people using profiling who don't understand profiling. Everybody, including you, Steve, can do everything.
Well, do you know what? I like to think I can actually.
We can all do everything. We just do it at different levels.
Yeah.
And if we do it all the time and it's not our natural and preferred way to operate, it might be more exhausting to us. It might take more of our energy.
Yeah.
And we might have to recuperate differently at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But we can all do everything.
Yeah.
And
And there's a great example of that, actually. One of my friends, they operated a curry superstore, probably had 40 FTE. It was highly commercial, fast-paced, target-driven. And I did his personality profile. And at work, he was a typical operator profile. Yeah. But actually, outside of work, his profile was more patient, more all the other kind of the complete reverse, to be honest, to his operator profile. And I came to realise that if I saw him after he'd been at work all day, he just didn't have that much in the locker to talk about. He was a lot more quiet, a lot more reserved. But then I saw him on a weekend where he's not been at work and he's not almost mentally exhausted himself. He was a lot more outgoing, a lot more talkative, a lot more. So it is that thing that you can do whatever you want to do. Really, I
got a great example of that where it can be used really dangerously. Going back to your point, I did some work with a multi-academy and a group of head teachers, and I was doing a 6-day leadership program with them. And the start of it was based around profiling, and we did all their profiles. And of the 21 head teachers, I'd say 19 of them came out fiery red. Yeah, be brief, be right, be gone, get it done, drive. And one head teacher came out as earth green.
Yeah.
So show me you care, people focused. When she got her profile initially, before, because they were handed their profiles and then we debriefed them out as part of the workshop, she cried. And when I delved into why she cried because she thought that was it, her career was going to be curtailed.
Yeah. Right.
That the leadership team would then go, oh no, everyone needs to be fiery red, everyone needs to be driven because schools are businesses these days. And all the rest of the head teachers, by the end of the 6 days, every single one of the other head teachers was like, can I book some time in with you? Can you become my mentor? Can you become, because I don't listen to anybody. Yeah. I've got really poor issues with morale in my store, in my school. Sorry, I had it in my store as well. I'll come back to that in a second. Yeah. We've got issues with teachers, we've got issues with absence. Yeah. And all I've done is try to performance manage it rather than people manage it. And by the end of those 6 days, they suddenly realised that she can do dominance if she needs to. She can do that, get stuff done, direct. Yeah. But actually, she brought a different energy to her world.
So, just again for the listeners, so when we were completing our personality profile...
Oh, this was fun. This was one of my favourite days.
When we get yours, Lee.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, mine's tumbling all over the show. I can't help messing around with them. But so what we do is you emailed across the list and we filled in a series of questions. It took no more than sort of 5 to 10 minutes, did it? So some quite inquisitive sort of questions about yourself, how you feel others perceive you. And from there... and we keep waving these blocks around, so we can probably explain these in a bit more detail now while we kind of go through a profile. From there, you are kind of given a full document, aren't you, that outlines your personality profile. It's a write-up on, what your strengths are, what some of your potential weaknesses are, or I don't know if you like the word weaknesses. Weaknesses. How it affects your kind of leadership style. So it's a really good communication, a really good info pack. And these building blocks are just like a really helpful tool, aren't they, to kind of show you the different elements which are broken down. So it might be good just to explain the individual elements of either yours, Steve's, or mine.
Yeah, tell you what, let's use Steve's. This is yours over Steve.
That's right.
So the reason we use these blocks in Insights is because these are a great visual. Yeah. So we encourage you to have these on your desk. And the idea is that as somebody approaches you, they've automatically got a visual about how you like to do business. Yeah. They are not for you and Steve to throw, you and Lee to throw.
That does happen.
Okay, which I know has happened because Alex told me. So what we've got here, when we did Steve and Lee. So Steve, we have 4 colour energies. The first one being fiery red. Fiery red is about be brief, be bright, be gone. So this is kind of get it done. We've made a decision. Yeah. Stand by your decision. Yeah. Whatever that decision is, stand by it. You then got sunshine yellow. Sunshine yellow is about involvement. These are people who've got the ideas, who go, it's 80% there, let's get going with it. Yeah. Because the problems line themselves out as we get going. Yeah. Let's just try it. If we keep user testing it, we'll never do it.
Anyway, yeah.
Earth green is about show me you care. It's about how will that decision impact on others within the organisation or within the wider team. And then cool blue is about detail. Yeah. These are the people who cross the T's, dot the I's, keep you safe, keep you legal. Yeah. keep you going.
A lot of that.
So, what you have is a dominant energy, and then your less dominant energies. Now, use that word really, really specifically. Yeah. It's less dominant. It's not chuck it out in the bin. You don't do any of that.
Yeah.
It's just not your more preferred way.
Yeah.
So when we did yours, it came out that you led with fiery red.
Yeah.
So you're about drive.
Yeah.
You're very driven. You want to achieve stuff. You've got a clear goal.
Yeah.
And you're going to go for that goal.
Yeah.
You then come in with the sunshine yellow.
I think what's important just on the red, because the communication thing is dead important actually, and it kills me when people come to me with just reams and just talking like, and it's funny how the slogan on, because I've never come across it, be brief, be bright, be gone, and it's not it's not supposed to be in a bad way. It's just, you better just hit me with the quickly with the facts.
Don't waffle with me.
Don't waffle, because I'm gone, and I say that sometimes to the team. You've lost me. What
is it you want from me?
Yeah, what is it you want? Just tell me. And
I'm not going to think you're being rude.
That's it. But then it was funny because that's my default in the way we communicate. And then you mentioned, well, we got a member of the team that's probably likely to have a lot more cool blue.
Yeah.
And he's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And
so they are polar opposites.
And then it's about the relationship between and how you start to manage each other's preferences, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. So you've definitely got ideas in you. You've got idea. That's your sunshine yellow is, and part of that is panned out by the fact that the two of you have started this business.
Yeah.
That you've got logic resourcing. You are doing recruitment differently.
Yeah.
You are focusing it from a different angle, and I think that's one of the reasons we kind of quite enjoy chatting to each other.
Yeah,
we all understand that corporate world, and that's what makes you different, because you've seen it from the inside.
Yeah.
But so therefore you've got different ideas of bringing different people to the party.
Yeah.
But then we turn it the other way around. So these are your less preferred ways to work. So for you, it's the earth green, so the show me you care. That's more kind of, it's not about that you don't care. It's, you can see the size of the prize, and if that means you have to take a couple of prisoners on the way, then so be it.
I love that. But it's true, isn't it? I think ultimately the main thing that drives me is you have a plan of what needs to kind of come, and it has to come.
If you think about your business, if you think about any business, if you're recruiting as a recruiter, or if you're the candidate, for you, you've got a job, which is you've got to place a candidate, because that's what you're measured by.
Definitely.
Being honest with candidates. Is something you've got to do. So you're not going to
not care,
but you're not going to make it something sort of very soft and gentle and go, well, you did really well. There was just a lot of competition. You're more likely to go, right, this is what you didn't hit in the profile.
Yeah, and that's why.
So you're going to use that people bit, but in a very
bit more direct
way. So rather than sort of pandering to people, you're going to give them that really honest feedback.
Yeah. It's brilliant. I mean, just from the report, that kind of come through. I remember you saying tick some bits when you read through that you think either are or aren't like. I think it was not like, I was thinking, well, I could tick everything that was like me. It was nuts. It was the one that made me laugh the most, and then Lee might share something. It says, my life will tend to be a series of initiated but unfinished projects. And then straight at that point in time, I thought, I've got about 4 different projects at home.
Yeah, that's
DIY. Exactly I'm just like, I do it, and then I lose interest in the want to complete. So I've got everything half finished, and it's.
But that pans out. Yeah. It pans out to your 2 preferred colour energies. Yeah. Got the excitement of getting it going.
Yeah.
You got the idea. You know exactly what needs to be done, but you don't want to do the doing. Yeah. Doing's the detail.
That's it. Yeah.
So that's when you get a man in.
So
or a woman in.
That's it. It's brilliant. It was.
But
it was
you
good.
do have a bit of a brainwave moment, don't you? Yeah. Like with Nathan and the team.
Yeah.
It was terrible when he first started with us, and we kind of guessed he was detail orientated, because Steve and I have been in recruitment for so long. We both very low detail. We kind of get each other.
You get it, yeah.
We could send him a quick, 3 or 4 word text, Nathan, crack on, and then expect him to crack on with that. Nathan'd be sitting, his head was probably scrambled. We hadn't given him all the information he needed.
And that was the conversation we had, wasn't it?
We hadn't given him justification of why we needed it doing. There was loads of blank gaps that he hadn't quite filled in himself. So really helping understand your own, first of all, like you said, and then the team around you can have a massive benefit on efficiency, production. Now we know to spend 2 more minutes with Nathan, even though sometimes it's a bit 2 more minutes than I would like. We get loads more out of Nathan. He enjoys.
That's the thing about leadership.
Yeah.
As a leader, you need to understand yourself first.
Yeah.
And if you're going to lead any organisation, being able to understand what motivates you and what drives you is really important.
Yeah.
Because then it allows you to go, okay, other people are motivated and driven in a different way.
Yeah.
And as a leader, it's your responsibility to adapt and pull out the best of your team.
Yeah.
And that's how you're best going to get the most efficient, effective team that you've got, is if you can identify what is it you need and what is it they need.
Yeah.
And I think when we had that conversation about your team, it became very apparent that actually Nathan's not just trying to drive you two insane. He's not just trying to annoy you.
Yeah.
He's actually saying,
just the way he's built.
Give me the detail, because then I can do a better job for you.
But where I think the beauty is, and I think you just touched on that, is actually it's good as in a standalone in a recruitment process. But ultimately, where it can be really powerful is when you bring a whole department in. I think we've done it in the past, where it's your finance team, it's your HR team, and you profile everyone, and then you can overlay those profiles to go, so this is the differences we've got within a team. So maybe you're going to push a certain project to one of those people. So I used to get projects, in my default, I love the ideas, but I hated the delivery. Asked me to write a policy, a process, a procedure, and it killed me inside. I could do it, and I had to do it because that was ultimately what my job was as a HR business partner. But there's somebody that was loads better at doing it, and actually they were more happy to sit at the machine, do the research and do the stuff, and that's the playing to the skill sets.
That is the absolute, you just summed it up there in that word, they were happy.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that you get. If you do that, if you understand people properly, everybody goes home in a better mood.
Definitely, yeah.
And things like, again, coming from the corporate world, you know, am I allowed to say the word the smoking room?
Of course,
why not?
So the smoking room, where did stuff get done?
Yeah.
In the smoking room. When you went to your annual conference, what got done was what was discussed in the bar afterwards.
Yeah.
People who have Lead with Earth Green or Cool Blue Energy, they, and I use the phrase, they think to speak.
Yeah.
So when they're given loads of information, they need to go away and be given a moment to absorb it and work their way through it, and then they'll tell you what they think.
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of that full day of conference, these are the people who don't want to go to the bar and stay up till 2 a.m, discussing everything that you've just talked about all day.
Yeah.
Whereas people who lead with your fiery red and your sunshine yellow, they speak to think.
Yeah.
So they have to talk their way through everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes what you'll find, I bet you find this with him, don't you?
I do.
He talks and talks and talks, and he ends up back where he started.
Steve will come out, whether it's finished a networking session, whether he's been to a meeting, a client, whether he's, you know, just woke up, he'll ring the phone.
And talk
I could just be in the middle of something like an email, and then it'll be 20 minutes of just the idea, bouncing to idea to so
That's how.
Do you know what? I blame you.
I did say that to you. Do you know what Mary said today? You speak to think, you don't think to speak.
I came to him and I must have delivered a load of stuff like I needed to empty my head. I'd been thinking about it for about 20 minutes, and it was doing me head, and I just kept going round and round and round.
To think.
And I just needed to unload. Yeah. And anyway, I just must have gone bang and barragely. And then in the end, he goes, "Do you know what? You think you speak to think, don't you?" And I looked at it, thinking, "Well, where's he got this from?" And then I realised that he'd been on a session with Mary.
That is it.
I thought he was all perceptive, and he thought,
always learning.
I'd let you claim that. Right. But that is it. You the way you process information is you need to speak to think it out. Now the danger is if we don't, as leaders, we don't understand that about ourselves.
Yeah.
What we do is we take quiet and silence as acceptance.
Yeah.
So in a meeting, if you're recruiting, for example, and somebody takes a second to answer your question, you think, oh, they're not very on the ball, are they?
Yeah.
Whereas actually what they're doing is they're thinking about what you've asked them.
Yeah.
They're processing it.
Yeah.
And then they'll give you the answer.
And the funny thing is, just one more thing. The thing where you kind of mentioned about those people that lead with your greens and blues. Back in the day, if you didn't go to the bar after, you were chastised. You were the person that was non-engaged. You were not on the board, not on the bus, as they used to call it in our stuff. And actually, it's not even about that. You know, they might be the most engaged individuals. They may have loved everything that they said, but they don't need to go to the bar after.
They just need to go away and process it themselves.
Yeah. So to summarise then, so we've touched on recruitment a little bit. We've also touched on some of the tangible benefits that it can have from a business, and it's a really good point actually. as leaders, we should all have our profiles done, and that's a starting block. It can help with team dynamics, it can help with leadership, it can help with efficiency, understanding people's strengths within your business.
Absolutely.
Anything else, kind of just briefly, that any just rounded benefits that it could have over a business that we've not mentioned? Do you think?
I think probably some of the biggest benefits, the things we've talked about. The other benefits that you get is understanding how better to communicate and pick up on the unsaid things. So, your sunshine yellow leader person walks into your office every morning and goes, "Morning, how are you? Oh, I had the most gorgeous curry for me tea last night. The cat's at the vet. It's all a disaster, but it's fine." And you know it.
Yeah.
And lovely. If that person comes in day one and goes, "Morning," sits down.
Yeah. You know,
day two.
Wrong. Yeah.
You okay? Sits down. As a leader, the thing that this tells you is,
so knock yourself
the thing
out,
this tells you is something's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really great point.
Something is wrong. What is going on?
Yeah.
But if your cool blue comes in and starts, "Oh, well, it's all been an absolute disaster," and he's becoming to be a little bit indiscreet.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're going into a stress mode. And that's when
so it's not necessarily if they're quiet, you think the grumpy bugger coming in every morning. That's just, different.
It's about
style,
understanding. So actually, as in terms of picking up on those those things in your team that you can then, particularly with mental health and health and well-being, you as a leader can step in and go straight away, "Steve, you're right, mate.
Yeah.
You've not been quite yourself the last couple of days."
Yeah.
That might be the opening that person needs.
Yeah. To be able to
go,
unload and share.
I just need to share something.
Yeah.
If you don't know that about somebody, you just think, or you're so wrapped up in yourself as a leader that you don't notice those differences.
Yeah.
That's when you end up with bigger problems, and that can even aid things like absence, sickness absence, conflict in the workplace.
Yeah.
These are all things that by understanding yourself, understanding your team, you can better liberate their potential and that of the wider team within that organisation.
Which will have a massive impact on retention as well.
Yeah.
Retention, productivity.
Yeah.
So
I suppose for succession planning, just thinking on that, we often feel we have a path mapped out for people that are in your business, but ultimately kind of knowing where their best defaults sit, you can make appropriate recommendations that suit their personality styles, their learning styles, communication. So ultimately you can help to
And it's interesting because I heard you on the phone before we came on today to do the podcast, and I heard you saying to a candidate something about the industry that you were looking at, and you said, it's a very corporate industry, it's quite different.
Yeah.
And actually understanding that actually made you better at what you were going to position that guy in. So you were able to help him make the best decision for his next move.
100%. And that I think that's the one thing that's unsaid, isn't it? I think the culture and environment should be one of the things you lead with, kind of recruiting, because you don't want to put something in where somebody's going to feel uncomfortable.
No.
Because you come into work every day, don't you? You have to feel that kind of comfort, and that's what we said, culture trumps everything. And this helps create a positive culture, ultimately having a cohesive team and cohesive environment where everyone understands each other's differences.
Because that's the thing, the culture is driven by understanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you understand each other, you get that person is not just trying to drive you insane, or that person just doesn't care.
Yeah.
You get the culture that we're all different, but we can all do everything.
Yeah. And I think that's the key, isn't it? I think, it shouldn't be defined just because someone's profile is X, that there's no belief.
Absolutely not.
Because that's not how personality profiles should be used in recruitment, is it?
No, or in life, because interestingly, like you've got your profile is slightly different in your work persona to your home persona.
Yeah.
Because we dial up and we dial down based on the actual experience that we're currently going through.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm just conscious of time.
Yeah.
So I think we could natter all day.
Oh yeah.
I think we've only kind of just scratched the surface. But linking it back to recruitment, then, if you had to kind of say very briefly how you feel it should be used in recruitment and how it shouldn't be used in recruitment, just to round it off and put a recruitment spin on.
So I think it should be used in recruitment to enable the recruiter to understand their own unconscious bias and how they may therefore make decisions based on people like them rather than the right person for the role. It should not be used to recruit a particular energy because you think it's a gap. Because everybody can do everything. But it also, in recruitment, it enables you to help people make the right decisions about the right industry and the right job that's going to give them the best satisfaction, and therefore that aids retention, aids engagement, and make sure everybody has a better work-life balance.
Awesome. I think that concludes the episode. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, been great.
Thanks for coming on, Mary.
I think we'll kind of follow up when we're going to have a chat and put something out there for the guys that they can kind of download, or a bit of a kind of toolkit. Just
perfect. That'd be great. I mean, I think and we can give some links into how best to use it. So maybe some top 5 tips.
100%. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Not only can recruitment be a rather frustrating process, it can also be pretty time consuming. But thankfully, the team at Logic Resourcing can take all that pain away from you. Lots of agencies say that they do recruitment differently. We've all heard it. But as you know from this podcast, both Lee and Steve at Logic genuinely mean it. Now, put it this way, 94%, yes, that's right, 94% of the candidates that they submit attend their interviews, and Logic have a 90% success rate on exclusive assignments. That's pretty impressive. So if you're looking to ace your recruitment, make your life easier, and find those diamond candidates, start by letting Logic take the stress out of all of this for you. Give us a call or email info@logicresourcing.com.